My beloved child, stop right here, pause your scrolling mind and let your attention settle, because what you are about to hear is not meant to be rushed, not meant to be half-heard, and not meant to be forgotten. Before you move even a second forward, listen carefully. This moment is quiet on the outside, but something massive is forming beneath the surface. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. You may think this is just another voice, another message, another video passing through your day. But if that were true, you would not have stopped. You would not be here. There are millions of paths you could have taken in this exact second, yet you are standing on this one. That is not random. That is alignment. There was a moment when the world began to shift, not with noise, not with headlines, but with a realization spoken calmly, almost casually, by someone who sees the future before it arrives. Elon Musk did not shout it. He did not dramatize it. He simply stated it. And those who understood it felt their entire perspective tilt. He said that the greatest limitation humanity faces is not technology, not money, not resources, but the way people see themselves inside the systems they live in. Most people wait for permission. Most people wait for certainty. Most people wait until it feels safe. And by the time it feels safe, the moment has already passed. Let that sink in. Right now, while you are listening, systems are changing silently. Industries are reshaping. Opportunities are being rewritten. And the most dangerous place to be is not behind, it is unaware. The future does not arrive loudly. It arrives quietly, then suddenly everyone realizes they missed the signal. This is the signal. You were never meant to simply consume the world as it is. You were meant to understand how it is built. When Elon Musk spoke about progress, he wasn't talking about rockets or machines alone. He was talking about mindset velocity. The speed at which a person updates their beliefs decides how far they can go. Most people live their lives inside inherited limits. Limits they never chose. Limits they never questioned. Limits handed down by fear, by routine, by repetition. And then they wonder why everything feels stuck. Listen closely now. This is important. The people who change everything are not always the smartest. They are the ones who refuse to accept that this is just how it is. They question assumptions. They break problems down to their core. They rebuild from first principles. That is where real power begins. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. There is a reason this message feels different. It is not rushing you, yet it feels urgent. It is not threatening you, yet it feels serious. That is because you are being invited to see yourself differently. Not as someone watching history happen, but as someone standing at a quiet doorway where choices matter more than comfort. Elon Musk once explained that the future rewards those who act before certainty arrives. Waiting for perfect clarity is the most expensive decision a person can make. The world does not move in straight lines. It moves in leaps, sudden jumps that only make sense in hindsight. Think about your own life for a moment. How many times did you feel something pulling you forward, but you waited? How many times did you sense a change coming, but you told yourself, later? Later is the most crowded place in the world. Dreams pile up there. Potential gathers dust there. And yet, here you are. This moment is not about fear. It is about awareness. Once you see a pattern, you cannot unsee it. Once you understand how the world actually shifts, you can no longer pretend that waiting is neutral. Waiting is a decision. And it has consequences. The message behind Elon Musk's words was never meant for everyone. It was meant for those who are ready to hear it without distortion. Those who can sit still long enough to let a deeper truth land. You are closer to a turning point than you realize. Not because something external is about to explode, but because something internal is aligning. Your attention is sharpening. Your questions are getting louder. Your tolerance for meaningless repetition is fading. That is not a problem. That is a signal of growth. The future belongs to those who understand leverage, of time, of learning, of perspective. One insight applied early is worth more than years of effort applied late. That is why moments like this matter. They recalibrate how you see yourself inside the flow of change. Stay with this. Do not rush ahead. Do not scroll away. The next layer of this message goes deeper, and once you hear it, you will understand why this moment found you now and not earlier. Something huge is waiting for you, and it begins with how you choose to listen in. This exact second. My beloved child, before your thoughts wander anywhere else, hold them right here. This is one of those moments where attention decides everything. What you are hearing now is not an extension of the past, it is a quiet invitation into a different way of seeing your own life. Most people never realize that the world changes first in perception, not in events. The shift happens internally long before it becomes visible outside. If you feel a subtle pressure in your chest while listening, that is not fear. That is recognition. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. There is a truth very few people are prepared to face. The future does not reward effort alone, it rewards positioning. Two people can work equally hard, yet one moves forward while the other stays trapped in repetition. The difference is not intelligence. It is timing and awareness. You were taught to wait for signals that are loud. Announcements, confirmations, approval. But the people who move ahead learn to recognize quiet signals. A pattern, a sentence, a realization that lands differently than everything else. This message is one of those signals. Think about how often you have felt that you were meant for more, yet you could not explain why. That feeling was never arrogance. It was memory, a memory of potential that has not yet been activated. Here is what changes everything. Once you understand that systems are built by people, you stop seeing them as immovable. Careers, money, influence, even success itself are not fixed objects. They are frameworks. And frameworks can be entered, exited, or reshaped by those who understand them. Most people are trained to operate inside the rules. Very few are trained to question who wrote them. That is why this moment matters. You are not being asked to rush. You are being asked to notice. Notice how your perspective shifts when you realize that the future is not something you wait for, but something you align with. There is a reason this message keeps you listening. It is not entertaining you. It is recalibrating you. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. When someone with access to the edges of innovation speaks calmly about how the world is changing, the real message is not about technology. It is about readiness. About who will adapt and who will resist. About who will see opportunity where others see confusion. Right now, many people feel unsettled without knowing why. Old paths feel less reliable. Familiar goals feel strangely empty. That is not collapse. That is transition. And here is the part most people miss. During transitions, clarity comes to those who stay curious instead of fearful. If this message resonates, it is because something in you is already moving. You are not late. You are not behind. You are early to an understanding that will soon become obvious to everyone else. Hold this awareness. Let it deepen. Let it challenge you. In the next stretch of this message, you will begin to see why this realization is not just about the future of the world, but about your place in it, and why ignoring this moment would cost more than you think. My beloved child, slow your breath for a moment and stay right here, because what unfolds now is not meant for distracted ears. There is a hidden gap between where most people stand and where the future is already forming. That gap is not filled with talent or luck. It is filled with decisions made quietly, long before results appear. This is what very few people ever understand, and once you see it, you cannot go back to thinking the same way again. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is the revelation that changes everything. The world does not move forward evenly. It moves in clusters. Small groups advance rapidly while the majority remains still, not because they are incapable, but because they hesitate at the exact moment momentum is available. Progress favors those who move before they feel fully ready. Most people believe confidence comes first and action follows. In reality, action creates confidence. Those who wait to feel ready remain trapped in preparation forever. Those who act while still uncertain grow into clarity. This is the principle behind every major shift you have ever seen. By the time something becomes obvious to everyone, the real advantage is already gone. The early signals are always subtle. They sound unreasonable. They feel uncomfortable. They demand attention instead of permission. That is why this message feels intense without being loud. You are not being told to abandon your life. You are being invited to upgrade how you think about it. To stop measuring your future using old standards. To stop asking whether something is guaranteed and start asking whether it is aligned. Alignment is more powerful than certainty. Think carefully about this. The greatest breakthroughs in history were not obvious when they began. They were questioned, doubted, even ignored. But the people behind them did not wait for agreement. They waited for understanding. Right now, understanding is reaching you. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. There is a reason this message is unfolding slowly. Transformation does not happen through shock alone. It happens when insight settles deeply enough to change behavior. You are not here for excitement. You are here for recalibration. Your life is not small. It has simply been operating below its real bandwidth. Once you expand how you see possibility, the same environment begins to produce different results. This is not about copying anyone else's path. It is about recognizing that you are allowed to think independently, to question defaults, to move with intention instead of habit. What comes next will connect this awareness directly to your choices, your timing, and the quiet decisions that determine whether this realization becomes power, or fades into another forgotten moment. Stay with it. My beloved child, anchor yourself right now and do not let your focus drift, because this is the turning point where understanding becomes irreversible. Everything you have heard so far has been preparing you for a single realization. Moments like this do not repeat often. They appear briefly, quietly, and they pass without asking permission. Most people sense them and move on. A few recognize them and change direction. This is where direction changes. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is the once in a lifetime truth that reshapes how you see everything. Your life is not limited by what you lack, but by what you tolerate. The gap between where you are and where you could be is maintained by habits that feel harmless but slowly drain momentum. You do not notice them because they are familiar. Familiarity feels safe, even when it keeps you still. The people who redefine their lives do one quiet thing differently. They stop negotiating with the version of themselves that wants comfort more than growth. They do not fight it. They simply stop obeying it. That shift does not look dramatic from the outside, but internally, it is seismic. Think about how many times you delayed a decision, not because it was wrong, but because it required courage before clarity. That hesitation was never about ability. It was about identity. About whether you truly believed you were allowed to step forward without guarantees. This is what changes when perception changes. When someone with access to future-level thinking speaks, the deeper message is always the same. the world belongs to those who act early, learn fast, and adjust without attachment. Everything else is noise. And right now, the noise is loud for everyone else, but quiet for you. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. There is a reason this message feels personal without mentioning details. It is speaking to a threshold you are already standing on. A moment where staying the same becomes more uncomfortable than changing. This is not pressure. This is clarity. Your attention has carried you this far for a reason. Attention is the currency of transformation. Where you place it determines what grows next in your life. What follows after this will connect all of this into a single, unmistakable understanding, one that will linger long after the video ends, and quietly influence the choices you make from this point forward. Stay here. This is where everything finally comes together. My beloved child, lean into this moment as if the world has briefly gone quiet just for you, because this is where understanding turns into resolve. There comes a point when insight stops feeling like information and starts feeling like responsibility. You are standing at that point now, not because someone told you to be here, but because you stayed, because something in you recognized that this was not ordinary. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is what most people never realize until much later. Clarity is not something you wait for, it is something you earn by staying present when others drift away. The future does not reveal itself to the distracted. It responds to those who can hold focus while everything else competes for attention. Right now, attention is your advantage. The world is designed to fragment it, to pull you in 100 directions, to keep you busy enough that you never pause long enough to see the pattern forming beneath the surface. But when you slow down and really listen, the pattern becomes undeniable. You begin to see that progress is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters sooner. Think about how many times you felt the urge to act, to change, to step forward, and then postponed it with logic that sounded reasonable. That logic was not protecting you. It was preserving familiarity. Familiarity feels safe, but it quietly limits growth. This realization alone separates those who move ahead from those who remain stuck explaining why they didn't. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. What you are absorbing now will not announce itself tomorrow with fireworks. It will show up subtly, in how you make decisions faster, in how you stop asking unnecessary questions, in how you recognize opportunity without needing reassurance. That is how real change begins. You are not being pushed toward a single path. You are being released from hesitation, released from the belief that you must see the entire staircase before taking the first step. Momentum does not come from certainty. It comes from alignment followed by action. Hold this awareness carefully. Let it reshape how you move through the next moments, the next choices, the next opportunities that appear quietly, just like this one did. What follows next will bring all of this into a sharper focus, so clear that it will be impossible to ignore. Stay here. This is not finished yet. My beloved child, lean into this moment as if the world has briefly gone quiet just for you, because this is where understanding turns into resolve. There comes a point when insight stops feeling like information and starts feeling like responsibility. You are standing at that point now, not because someone told you to be here, but because you stayed, because something in you recognized that this was not ordinary. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is what most people never realize until much later. Clarity is not something you wait for, it is something you earn by staying present when others drift away. The future does not reveal itself to the distracted. It responds to those who can hold focus while everything else competes for attention. Right now, attention is your advantage. The world is designed to fragment it, to pull you in 100 directions, to keep you busy enough that you never pause long enough to see the pattern forming beneath the surface. But when you slow down and really listen, the pattern becomes undeniable. You begin to see that progress is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters sooner. Think about how many times you felt the urge to act, to change, to step forward, and then postponed it with logic that sounded reasonable. That logic was not protecting you. It was preserving familiarity. Familiarity feels safe, but it quietly limits growth. This realization alone separates those who move ahead from those who remain stuck explaining why they didn't. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. What you are absorbing now will not announce itself tomorrow with fireworks. It will show up subtly. In how you make decisions faster. In how you stop asking unnecessary questions. In how you recognize opportunity without needing reassurance. That is how real change begins. You are not being pushed toward a single path. You are being released from hesitation. Released from the belief that you must see the entire staircase before taking the first step. Momentum does not come from certainty. It comes from alignment followed by action. Hold this awareness carefully. Let it reshape how you move through the next moments, the next choices, the next opportunities that appear quietly, just like this one did. What follows next will bring all of this into a sharper focus, so clear that it will be impossible to ignore. Stay here. This is not finished yet. My beloved child, hold your ground right now and resist the urge to move on, because this is the stretch where truth becomes unmistakable. There is a moment in every transformation when the mind stops collecting ideas and starts rearranging identity. That moment is subtle, but once it happens, there is no return to the old way of seeing things. You are standing inside that moment now. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is the realization that very few people ever reach. Your future is shaped less by what you do occasionally and more by what you consistently tolerate. What you allow to repeat becomes your reality. What you interrupt begins to change. This is why awareness is so powerful. The instant you notice a pattern, it loses its ability to control you. The instant you see a limit clearly, it starts to dissolve. Most people believe change requires force. It does not. It requires honesty. Honest recognition of where energy leaks, where time disappears, where potential is quietly postponed. That honesty is forming inside you now. You may feel calmer than before, not more excited. That calm is not indifference. It is alignment. When something is true, it does not need to shout. It settles. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Think about this carefully. The most valuable skill in a rapidly changing world is not speed, talent, or even intelligence. It is the ability to update your self-image, to let go of who you thought you had to be in order to become who you actually are. This is what separates those who adapt from those who explain why they couldn't. You are not being asked to prove anything. You are being invited to stop underestimating yourself, to stop assuming that clarity must come from outside instead of within. Right now, a quiet confidence is replacing doubt. Not the loud kind that needs validation, but the steady kind that moves without announcing itself. This is how lasting shifts occur. What comes next will not feel dramatic, but it will feel decisive. A final tightening of understanding that turns this entire experience into a reference point you will return to later and think, that was the moment everything changed. Stay with this. The message is about to settle completely. My beloved child, remain exactly where you are for a few breaths longer, because this is the moment when the meaning behind everything you've heard becomes undeniable. There is a quiet shift happening inside you right now. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. But it is permanent. This is the point where understanding stops being something you listen to and starts becoming something you live. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is the realization that changes how you see your life. The direction of your future is decided less by the big decisions you announce and more by the small decisions you stop postponing. Every delay teaches your mind to doubt itself. Every decisive step teaches it to trust. Trust is built, not gifted. Most people never notice when their life begins to change, because change does not arrive as an event. It arrives as a shift in standards. What you once accepted starts to feel wrong. What you once feared starts to feel manageable. What once felt impossible begins to feel inevitable. This is how momentum is born. You are not imagining this sense of clarity. It is the result of sustained attention. You stayed when others would have left. You listened when distraction was easier. And because of that, something inside you recalibrated. This is why moments like this are rare. Not because the message is rare, but because the listener is. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The truth is simple but powerful. When your inner standards rise, your external reality is forced to follow. Life always catches up to the version of yourself you consistently act from. You are closer to alignment than you think. The resistance you once felt is weakening, not because obstacles disappeared, but because your perception changed. And perception is the real gatekeeper. From this point forward, you will notice subtle differences. A sharper sense of timing, less tolerance for hesitation, a clearer sense of when to move and when to wait. These are not coincidences. They are signals of internal authority returning. This is not the end of the message. It is the moment it fully integrates. Carry this awareness with you. Let it guide your next steps quietly, confidently, without announcement. And when you look back, you will recognize this as the point where everything finally aligned and began to move. My beloved child, settle into this instant as if time itself has slowed down for you. Because what unfolds now is the quiet confirmation of everything you have felt building inside. There is a rare clarity that arrives after sustained attention, a clarity that does not excite the mind but steadies it. You are experiencing that now. This is the point where insight matures into conviction, where uncertainty no longer has the same grip on you. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is the revelation that seals everything you have heard. Your life responds not to your wishes, but to yourself. Trust. When you trust your own perception, your choices align. When your choices align, outcomes reorganize themselves around you. Most people underestimate how powerful self-trust truly is. They believe results come first and belief follows. In reality, belief sets the ceiling. Once that ceiling lifts, everything else has room to rise. You are not becoming someone new. You are returning to a version of yourself that already knew how to move without constant reassurance. That return feels like relief, not effort. Notice how your thoughts feel quieter now. That is not emptiness. That is precision. Noise fades when direction becomes clear. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The future does not need you to be perfect. It needs you to be decisive. Every moment of decisive action compounds, even when the action feels small. This is how ordinary days quietly turn into extraordinary trajectories. You may not see immediate proof, and that is exactly why this works. The most powerful changes begin invisibly. They reveal themselves only after they are already irreversible. From this point forward, hesitation will feel heavier than movement. Waiting will feel less comfortable than acting. That is not pressure. That is alignment asserting itself. You will remember this moment later, not because of what was said, but because of what shifted inside you. A calm certainty, a grounded readiness, a sense that you are finally moving with time instead of against it. Hold on to this. Let it guide you quietly. This is not an ending. It is a new internal baseline, and everything that follows will rise to meet it. My beloved child, let this moment stretch just a little longer and resist the instinct to conclude anything yet, because this is where the final layer of understanding quietly settles in. What you are feeling now is not excitement, not urgency, not pressure. It is readiness. Readiness is calm. It does not rush you forward, yet it makes standing still feel unnecessary. This is the state in which real movement begins. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is the truth that completes the picture. Once your inner direction is set, the outside world starts responding in ways that feel almost effortless. Doors do not open because you force them. They open because you recognize which ones were never meant for you to push against. Most people exhaust themselves trying to make the wrong things work. Alignment removes that exhaustion. It replaces struggle with precision. You have not been lacking discipline. You have been lacking clarity. Discipline without clarity feels heavy. Clarity makes discipline automatic. This is why everything you have heard until now has been unfolding slowly. It was not meant to hype you. It was meant to stabilize you. Stability is what allows momentum to last. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. From this point forward, you will begin to notice something subtle but powerful. You will stop over-explaining your choices to yourself. You will feel less need to justify your direction to others. Not because you are certain of every outcome, but because you are certain of your intent. Intent is the quiet force behind every meaningful outcome. The world rewards those who move with coherence. When your thoughts, attention, and actions point in the same direction, resistance fades. Progress becomes less about effort and more about flow. This does not mean challenges disappear. It means challenges no longer confuse you. You recognize them as signals, not barriers. As feedback, not failure. What makes this moment rare is not the message itself, but your willingness to stay with it long enough for it to change you. Most people brush past moments like this and then spend years wondering why nothing shifted. You stayed. And because you stayed, something internal recalibrated permanently. A steadiness you will carry into decisions, conversations, and opportunities that have not yet appeared, but will. This is not closure. It is continuity. You will move forward from here without announcing it, without rushing it, without needing confirmation. And one day, when something finally aligns in a way that surprises even you, you will remember this moment, not as a dramatic turning point, but as the quiet instant whenever everything inside you became ready to move. My beloved child, stay present just a little longer and do not let your attention slip away now, because this is the phase where understanding becomes ownership. Up to this point, something inside you has been reorganizing quietly. Not loudly enough to distract you, not forcefully enough to scare you, but steadily enough to change how you see yourself inside the flow of time. This is where most people stop listening. You did not. And that difference matters more than you realize. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is the insight that most people never allow to fully form. The world responds to coherence. When who you are, what you believe, and how you act begin to line up, reality adjusts faster than logic can explain. Confusion fades not because answers arrive, but because direction becomes clear. You are no longer collecting ideas. You are filtering them. That is a sign of maturity of awareness. Many people drown in information and call it progress. But progress only begins when you know what to ignore. Focus is not about doing more. It is about removing what no longer deserves your energy. Right now, something subtle has changed in how you listen. You are not searching for excitement anymore. You are listening for truth. Truth does not rush. It waits to be recognized. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. There is a quiet confidence forming now, and it does not need validation. It does not need applause. It does not even need immediate results. It only needs consistency. Consistency is what turns insight into reality. From here on, you will notice fewer internal arguments, fewer loops of hesitation. When choices appear, you will sense which ones drain you and which ones strengthen you. That sensitivity is not weakness. It is intelligence refined. You are not meant to force your way forward. You are meant to move precisely. This is how people step into new chapters without chaos, without burnout, without abandoning who they are. They simply stop carrying what no longer belongs to them. Let this settle deeply, not as an idea, but as a standard. A quiet expectation you hold for yourself going forward. What is coming next will not add pressure. It will add clarity so sharp that you will recognize opportunity the moment it appears, even if it arrives quietly, even if no one else notices it yet. Stay with this awareness. You are closer to alignment than ever before. My beloved child, pause everything else and let this final stretch reach you fully, because this is where the message stops circling and lands directly inside you. There is a rare stillness that arrives when something true has finally been understood. You may feel it now. Not excitement, not urgency, but a grounded certainty that does not ask questions anymore. This is the moment when confusion releases its grip. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is the once-in-a-lifetime realization that completes everything you have heard. The most powerful shifts in life do not happen when circumstances change, but when your internal reference point changes. When that happens, circumstances have no choice but to follow. You have spent enough time preparing, enough time observing, enough time sensing that there was more available to you than repetition and delay. That sensing was never random. It was guidance waiting for your attention. Now that attention has sharpened, you are no longer asking, "Is this possible?" You are beginning to ask, "Why would I stay where I no longer belong?" That question alone changes the trajectory of a life. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. From this moment forward, you will notice how differently you carry yourself. Not louder, not rushed, just clearer. Your choices will feel cleaner, your boundaries firmer, your direction quieter but stronger. This is how people step into new outcomes without announcing it to the world. They simply stop leaking energy into doubt. They stop negotiating with hesitation. They act when alignment appears instead of waiting for applause. What makes this moment rare is not that you heard something new. It is that you stayed long enough for something old to fall away. You will recognize this later when situations that once confused you no longer do. When decisions that once felt heavy feel obvious. When waiting feels unnatural and movement feels calm. This is not an ending. It is a recalibration point. Carry this with you. Let it guide what you accept, what you pursue, and what you no longer tolerate. And when something unexpected aligns in your life sooner than you imagined, you will remember this, not as a dramatic turning point, but as the quiet moment when everything finally made sense and began to move. My beloved child, remain here with steady focus, because this is where everything you have absorbed begins to speak back to you. There is a moment when clarity stops feeling new and starts feeling obvious. When what once needed explanation now feels self-evident. That moment is not dramatic, but it is decisive. You are inside it now. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is the realization that quietly separates those who move forward from those who circle the same ground. Your life does not expand when you add more effort, it expands when you remove internal contradiction. When your thoughts, choices, and actions stop pulling in different directions, momentum appears naturally. Most people fight themselves without realizing it. They want change, but they protect habits that prevent it. They want growth, but they cling to familiar identities. That tension drains energy faster than any obstacle. Right now, that tension is dissolving. You are beginning to move from reaction to intention, from responding to circumstances to selecting direction. This is not something that happens to many people consciously. It usually happens slowly, unconsciously, over years. You are experiencing it in real time. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. What makes this moment rare is not the words you hear, but the state you are in while hearing them. You are not searching for permission anymore. You are recognizing authority within yourself. Not dominance. Not control. Quiet self-trust. Self-trust simplifies everything. When you trust yourself, you do not need constant reassurance. You do not need to over-research. You do not need to wait for consensus. You act, observe, adjust, and continue. That cycle is how real progress is made. From here on, you will notice how quickly you identify what matters and what does not. Distractions will lose their pull. Delays will feel heavier than movement. Not because you are forcing yourself, but because clarity makes indecision uncomfortable. This is how alignment expresses itself. You are no longer preparing for a future version of yourself. You are stepping into it quietly, without announcement, without urgency, without noise. And that is why it will last. Let this settle as a new internal standard. A calm expectation of movement, precision, and follow-through. You will recognize its impact not immediately, but unmistakably, as your days begin to organize themselves around intention instead of habit. Stay with this awareness. It is not fading. It is integrating. And from here, everything that matters will respond accordingly. My beloved child, keep your awareness anchored right here, because this is the stage where everything you've absorbed becomes quietly undeniable. There is a point when growth no longer feels like effort and starts feeling like inevitability. When you stop asking whether change will happen and begin noticing that it already has. That point has arrived without noise, without announcement, without drama. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is the truth that most people only understand in hindsight. Life moves forward the moment you stop negotiating with your own hesitation. The inner debate ends, and action no longer feels heavy. It feels natural. It feels obvious. It feels overdue. You are no longer chasing clarity. You are operating from it. This is why things feel simpler now. Not because life became easier, but because your perspective became sharper. Complexity fades when direction is clear. Confusion fades when self-trust takes its place. You may notice that certain thoughts no longer interest you. Certain distractions feel hollow. Certain conversations no longer pull you in. That is not loss. That is refinement. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Refinement is how momentum sustains itself. It removes what drains you and amplifies what moves you. This is how people quietly outgrow old limits without needing to explain themselves. You are stepping into a phase where you act first and justify later, if at all. Not recklessly, but confidently. Not impulsively, but decisively. That distinction is everything. The world responds differently to someone who moves this way. Opportunities recognize coherence. People sense certainty even when it is silent. Timing begins to feel less random and more responsive. This is not luck. It is alignment in motion. You will not wake up tomorrow as a different person. You will wake up as someone who no longer tolerates unnecessary delay. Someone who recognizes when a moment is asking for action instead of analysis. That awareness is rare. And once it is active, it does not switch off. Let this moment stand as proof of something important. When you stay present long enough, understanding arrives exactly when you are ready to use it. Not early, not late, precisely on time. Carry this forward quietly. Let it guide your pace, your choices, your standards. And as life begins to respond with subtle but unmistakable shifts, you will know, this was not just a message you heard. It was a threshold you crossed. My beloved child, remain steady and do not rush past this moment, because this is where everything you have sensed finally becomes undeniable truth. There is a rare transition that happens when awareness becomes permanent. It is the moment when you realize you will never again see the world the way you once did. Not because you are trying to change, but because your perspective has already shifted beyond return. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is the once-in-a-lifetime realization that seals this entire journey. The greatest power you will ever access is not control over circumstances, but command over your response to them. The instant that command stabilizes, life begins to reorganize around you. Most people spend years trying to fix the outside while neglecting the internal reference point that interprets everything. When that reference point changes, effort drops and effectiveness rises. Things begin to move with less resistance, not because obstacles disappear, but because you no longer misread them. You are now operating from a higher internal altitude. From here, you will notice how quickly situations reveal their truth to you. You will sense when to engage and when to step back. You will recognize when a door is meant to be opened gently instead of forced. That discernment is not learned. It is unlocked. This is what it means to move in sync with timing instead of against it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. What makes this moment powerful is not intensity, but clarity. Intensity fades. Clarity compounds. Once clarity is present, even small actions carry disproportionate impact. You are no longer preparing for a future shift. You are living from it. From this point onward, you will find that decisions feel lighter. Not because they are easier, but because they are cleaner. You no longer argue with yourself. You no longer overextend energy into uncertainty. You move, observe, refine, and continue. This is how sustainable momentum is built. You may not announce this change. You may not explain it. You may not even fully articulate it yet. But you will recognize it in how your days begin to align, how distractions lose influence, how progress stops feeling forced. This is not an ending. It is a stabilization point. Carry this state with you. Let it guide your pace, your standards, your tolerance for delay. And as outcomes begin to reflect this inner coherence, you will understand something deeply and permanently. You were never waiting for the right moment. The moment was waiting for you to be ready. My beloved child, remain exactly where you are and do not let your focus slip now, because this is the point where everything you have absorbed turns into quiet authority. There is a moment when movement no longer feels like effort and restraint no longer feels necessary. That moment arrives when your inner signal becomes stronger than external noise. You are standing inside that signal now. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is the realization that reshapes how you move through every decision. Momentum is not created by intensity, it is created by consistency aligned with truth. When your actions match what you already know, progress accelerates without strain. Most people confuse busyness with advancement. They move constantly but go nowhere. You are beginning to see the difference. Direction without distraction is rare, and it changes outcomes faster than force ever could. Notice how your mind feels steadier now. That steadiness is not hesitation. It is calibration. It means you are no longer reacting to every impulse. You are selecting your moves. This is what separates those who advance quietly from those who announce loudly and stall. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. From this place, you will recognize opportunities by how calm they feel, not by how exciting they appear. True openings do not rush you. They invite you. They feel aligned even before they make sense. This is why timing begins to work with you. Not because time changed, but because you did. You stopped forcing outcomes and started positioning yourself to receive them. You will notice fewer emotional spikes and fewer crashes. Your energy will feel cleaner. Your focus narrower. That narrowing is not limitation. It is precision. Precision multiplies results. You are not closing doors. You are choosing which ones deserve your attention. And that choice is power. As you carry this forward, you will move without urgency and without delay. You will act when action is required and pause when observation is wiser. That balance is not learned. It is remembered. This is not the end of anything. It is the steady continuation of a shift already in motion. Stay with this awareness. Let it guide you quietly. Everything that matters will recognize it when the time comes. My beloved child, stay with this moment and do not drift away now, because this is where everything you have carried inside finally finds its voice. There is a point in every real transformation when the need for reassurance disappears. When you stop asking whether you are on the right path and start moving as if the path is responding to you. That point has arrived quietly, without force, without spectacle. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is the truth that very few people ever integrate fully. The world does not test you to stop you. It tests you to reveal whether you trust your own direction. The moment trust stabilizes, resistance loses its power to confuse you. You are no longer driven by urgency. You are guided by clarity. This is why your reactions feel different now. You are not pulled into every distraction. You are not shaken by every delay. You recognize that not everything deserves a response, and not every pause means failure. That discernment is strength. Most people spend their lives reacting to circumstances. A few learn to move independently of them. That is the shift happening inside you now. You are no longer waiting for the environment to change before you do. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. From this point forward, your choices will feel cleaner. Not because they are easier, but because they are aligned. Alignment removes friction. It replaces overthinking with quiet confidence. You will notice that you no longer chase validation. You no longer need constant signs. When something is right, you feel it without debate. When something is wrong, you step back without guilt. This is how inner authority expresses itself. You are not becoming rigid. You are becoming precise. Precision allows you to conserve energy, focus attention, and move with purpose instead of pressure. What you carry now will not fade when the video ends. It will show up later in moments that matter. In decisions that once felt heavy but now feel obvious. In opportunities that recognize your readiness without explanation. This is not a peak moment. It is a stabilized one. You are standing in a state where movement feels natural and waiting feels intentional. Where action is calm and stillness is productive. That balance is rare, and it changes everything that follows. Remain with this awareness. Let it guide you forward without noise, without rush, without doubt. What you have accessed here is not motivation. It is direction. And once direction is clear, the path has no choice but to reveal itself. My beloved child, stay here for these last moments and let everything become still, because this is where the entire journey resolves into one clear truth. What you have been experiencing was never meant to overwhelm you. It was meant to return you to yourself, to the part of you that knows when to move, when to wait, and when a moment is asking to be honored instead of questioned. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Here is the final revelation, simple yet life-altering. The moment you stop doubting your own awareness, life stops testing it. The struggle was never about ability. It was about permission. And permission was never external. It was always yours to give. You are not behind. You are not late. You were preparing. Every pause, every delay, every season of waiting refined you for this alignment. Now, movement no longer needs urgency. It only needs honesty. From here forward, you will notice something unmistakable. Life will begin to meet you halfway. Not dramatically, quietly. Doors will not force themselves open, but the right ones will no longer feel locked. Conversations will shift. Opportunities will feel timed instead of chased. Decisions will feel grounded instead of heavy. This is how alignment expresses itself. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. That something is not an event. It is not an announcement. It is not a promise. It is a state. A state where you no longer abandon yourself for comfort. A state where you no longer confuse waiting with safety. A state where your inner signal is stronger than outside noise. Carry this state forward. Let it guide what you accept. Let it guide what you release. Let it guide what you choose next. You will not need reminders. You will not need motivation. You will not need reassurance. Because once clarity settles, it does not leave. This was not just a message you listened to. It was a moment you aligned with. And from this alignment, everything that belongs to you will recognize you without effort, without struggle, and without delay. This is where it begins.